Our next speaker, you may have heard his name in the news over the last year or so. Our mayor named him our Google Czar, as Bmore Fiber was working really hard to get this really important contract with Google. He's the founder of a company called Mind Over Machines, and he is considered a visionary in the IT industry. Now, he is part of this growing tech, geek, nerd class that's coming to our city. And they're committed to our city, not just to help grow business and create jobs, but to make our neighborhoods better places. He is one of the most incredible people that you'll ever meet. Would you please welcome Tom Loveland.
Hi there. Most incredible person you'll ever meet, one of. Yeah, right. Woo! Well, so here we go. I'm going to talk to you about Baltimore's fiber future. And I am Tom Loveland, CEO of Mind Over Machines. And in addition to being Baltimore's Google Czar, I also get to be a co-chair of Baltimore's Broadband Task Force. A couple of years ago, Congress asked the FCC to come up with a national broadband plan. Google made some particular suggestions, and internally, Google considered suggesting that the federal government help actually wire some communities. When Sergey Brin heard this part of the idea, he said, you know, that's not really the government's place. Why don't we do that? And so the idea for Google Fiber was born. Many months later, Google's then CEO issued an op-ed in the Washington Post where he was decrying the nation's innovation, what's the word he's using here? Deficit. And he had a bunch of suggestions. And one of those, idea number 4, included making broadband much more widely available across the nation. So that was on a Tuesday. The very next day, what a coincidence, Google Fiber for Communities was announced. This was an opportunity for one or more towns in this nation to have Google install for free 1 gigabit fiber, which is about 100, 200 times faster than what most of us use today. And at the time, we were thinking that they might install it in 2, 3, 4 communities. We weren't really sure. The nation got excited. Mayors jumped into shark tanks and frozen rivers. Citizens marched in formation around the towns. Everybody got into the game and had a lot of fun. Google Fiber was the talk of Baltimore for a good few weeks. Boardrooms, dining room tables, restaurants. All right. And everybody was thinking about what life could be like if we had ultra-high-speed access, really fast speed, the things that we could do. And we came up with a whole bunch of really neat ideas, people in this room and around. Imagine, for instance, Under Armour executives not traveling to China to look at the latest prototypes, but actually looking at them here in Baltimore on a really high-resolution 3D holograph. I recognize this isn't a shoe, but I couldn't, that's what I could come up with. And then they might actually have dinner in a restaurant here instead of spending money in China. Imagine if the Space Telescope Science Institute collaborated with Maryland Science Center. We could astound and educate our children with an interactive, immersive, three-dimensional walkthrough experience, a model of the universe. Already Baltimore is a home for is a leader in serious games. We're teaching military folks running simulations for them in the field, emergency room hospitals, homeland security simulations. All this stuff happens already. Imagine how much better those could be with the kind of speeds that 100, 200 times faster connectivity would allow. You could have immersive experiences with people from all over the community and learning even better than they do today. Imagine musicians and songwriters collaborating in studios across town or across the globe. Imagine our medical experts viewing streaming three-dimensional images of around as well, so they could actually diagnose patients and educate other providers around the globe. Imagine them actually doing surgery on those patients on other parts of the planet. Imagine doctors simply providing better care to our own residents here in Baltimore. At many patients with Kennedy Krieger, many of the young patients actually benefit from having a lot of interaction with the doctors. It'd be really nice if the doctors could see some of these patients 3, 4, 5 times a week or more for just a few minutes and adjust treatment plans. And there's a huge difference if they're able to do that versus seeing them maybe once a week, or it's even hard for some of these patients to get to the doctor's office once every 2 weeks. And it's a huge difference in outcomes for these patients. It's even cheaper for Kennedy Krieger to actually put PCs with cameras in these patients' homes. They would like to do that, the much better outcomes. It's cheaper, but they don't have broadband, so they can't do it. Baltimore can be the health IT capital of the world. We have amazing assets here. We have 2 huge research parks. We're home to many federal agencies that are focused on healthcare. This city houses some of the most significant and comprehensive medical databases in the world. Imagine if we could connect them with this ultra-high-speed fiber. You could be like Tom Cruise in Minority Report, except you'd actually be walking through your data, recognizing patterns and just opportunities that you never noticed before, that you couldn't see the way we have to interact with our data today. Imagine if we all had our PCs hooked up in this town, with ultra-high-speed fiber. We could just leave it on, and the city could operate as a supercomputer at night, solving all kinds of problems. Imagine the entrepreneurs, how much fun they would have. Lafayette, Louisiana wired their city a couple of years ago, and Pixel Magic, one of the major 3D studios in Hollywood, opened a branch in Lafayette and bringing over 100 employees. We told all these ideas, we shared them all with Google, and we told them that if you bring Google Fiber here, we won't just sit in our duffs and watch movies, really downloading them every 5 minutes, but we will actually help you change the world. And we submitted our nomination online, and then I was about 2 steps out of the mayor's office, and it hit me, oh wow, Google might actually come here for a site visit. We need to get our act in order so we know what to show them and can help make sure they pick Baltimore. And then 2 steps after that, it hit me, they might never come. Look at the map. 1,100 communities responded to Google. At the time, again, we thought they might pick maybe 3 communities or so. Those aren't good odds. So we kicked off what I call Plan B, taking responsibility for our own fiber future. We held a symposium. Everybody came to the symposium. Government officials, legislators, politicians, I'm stuck on them, businesses, Verizon, Comcast, foundations, citizens, entrepreneurs, the FCC, and we had some of the leading thinkers and doers in broadband from around the country actually remotely involved in our conference. And then we kicked off the broadband task force to study these questions. What do we really have and what can we accomplish? What are the best practices out there? And we're working on this and we're finding out it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's a pretty hard thing to do. But we were then gifted in September, I think it was, with a fabulous gift. Baltimore received the 3rd largest federal package, stimulus money, to implement broadband of any place in the nation. And this is really, really big news. One Maryland will connect 1,000 institutions across the state, connecting every county in the state. Maryland is the first state in the nation that will be completely connected with 10 gigabit fiber. That's 10 times faster than Google's 1 gigabit fiber. This is amazing, but One Maryland Broadband is not Google Fiber. Google Fiber is coming to every home and business pretty much in Kansas City, Kansas, and it could have been the same thing here and still could possibly come here in the future. One Maryland Broadband is coming to 1,000 institutions across the nation. It's not coming to your home or to your business anytime soon. And so we still have this big challenge of how do we get from here, but it's a wonderful gift, but how do we get from here to this vision that we've been talking about? And again, it's not easy, but we're working on it with City Hall and foundations and so forth. So our vision is that 3 years from now, we would like to be able to say that Baltimore's children and families are connected as never before. Our businesses, our entrepreneurs are just having a ball. Health and welfare outcomes are on the rise. The digital divide is decreasing every single day. And we'd really like to be able to say that Baltimore's broadband future has actually arrived. It's burning bright. We'd like to have your help to make that happen, and thank you for your time today.